Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the grand finale, the final part of Let's Play Mega Man Unlimited, and the final part of Classic Era Mega Man, not counting Mega Man 11 or the Mega Man Unlimited Extras video. Technically, we're pretty much done. And technically, I'm going to tell you definitely have to buy the stuff that I'm carrying around. I'm going to talk about it later, but first, we're going to go to Wily Stage 1, and there's going to be 2 music tracks, so enjoy listening to those. Seriously though, we're at the end. This is finally the end of it all, so I hope that you enjoy this, because I know I'm going to. I also know I'm going to ramble on for an hour, so enjoy that. One more Yoku pass, and here we go. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that. This is the very first Wily Castle ever where there has not been an intro that was preceded by Dr. Wily's UFO. Pretty cool. What else can I tell you? This castle is pretty hard. Not this stage in particular. This stage is actually relatively easy compared to the rest of the castle and what it has to throw at you, but boy oh boy, does it get difficult. Stage 3 in particular, very fucking difficult. Let me tell you a little bit of the items that I bought in the very beginning. I loaded up on E-tanks and weapon tanks. The final boss of the castle, the final phase of the final boss, I should say, is really difficult. It's not at the same level of difficulty as the Wily Capsule from Mega Man 7, but it is extremely tricky, and you're definitely going to want... I actually overcompensated them with how much stuff I bought, because I actually didn't end up needing almost any of it, but definitely at least 2 energy tanks and 1 weapon tank are what you're going to need. 2 weapon tanks at most, just to feel comfortable and you know, to be completely sure that you're not going to run out of the weaknesses for that particular boss. Very tricky. Not easy at all. For different reasons. We'll get to it once we actually finally get to that. Definitely buy an energy balancer, because, you know, by this point in the game, you've probably collected many bolts. No reason not to get one of those. All the extra modes, I should say, of Mega Man Unlimited have Mega Man playing with the energy balancer, so, you know, no reason not to buy the energy balancer. The energy balancer, as you know, if you are regular Mega Man and collect a weapon energy capsule, it's going to automatically refill the weapon energy with the lowest bar. So that's always good. And again, all the extras modes play with a Mega Man that has that equipped automatically, so no reason not to carry it now for the toughest stages of the game. Some of them are the toughest stages of the game. This stage is actually even easier than the Okuman stage. The stage. The boss is stupid, and we'll talk about the boss when we get to it. My only other complaint about this game is the bosses of the first two Wily stages, or Occupied Wily stages, whatever, are really, really difficult. Like, almost unfair difficult. Not totally unfair. They're not completely unfair, but this one coming up is as close as it's gonna get. I also brought along some water with me because this is a long video and turned off my AC for minimum distractions now, which probably not a good idea, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Stage 1 is very rush jet focused. You don't want to use it the entire time, though. Trust me, you're definitely going to need a lot of rush jet throughout the entire castle. So try not to use that much of it. Remember, this is a classic era Wily Castle. Classic era Wily Castle. Which means you're not going to be getting weapon energy back between stages. So conserve, conserve, conserve. Last time I get to say that before Mega Man 11. Here we go. This fucking crab. I got a little montage ready, so enjoy that for a few seconds. Such a fucking unfair fight. Instant kill you in a second without even realizing it. There is a way to minimize that threat. First of all, use Nail Shield when he fires just the regular energy, regular energy bullets like you see there. If he does the electricity thing and it's coming toward the ladder that you are stuck climbing on, don't do the stupid thing. Don't try to climb to the top of the ladder and, you know, jump over to the next one like you would in other situations in Mega Man Unlimited. Jump down because the platforms at the bottom part of the electricity blue thingies at the bottom there, those are platforms. Mega Man can safely land on them. You know, the backlash, I guess. I can't think of the word right now. The backlash you take from the hit won't knock you off the platform completely, and it'll give you time to jump over to a safe ladder that you can fight from. Definitely use Nail Shield against the energy balls. Definitely don't try to climb to the top of the ladder and then, you know, jump over to the next ladder when it shoots the electricity out. The electricity is very, very fast, very, very dangerous. It's just an annoying boss. I got very, very lucky in this particular playthrough. The previous playthrough, I died like 2 times in less than 20 seconds because that crab is so annoying and so awful. Again, there's no situations in Mega Man Unlimited where it's unfair, but that's as close to unfair as it gets. That fucking crab. The second closest thing to unfair is this stage's boss. An underwater stage. Yay, with an underwater boss. With also an instant-kill move. Unlike the crab, the instant-kill move in this boss is actually much more telegraphed and much more dodgeable. It's much easier to deal with in this stage than the crab. Until then, though, before Whirlpool Man, before that special stage came out in one of the later updates in Mega Man Unlimited, this was the only underwater stage in Mega Man Unlimited, not counting the section in Rainbow Man stage. And maybe there was another section, but I completely forgot if it was. Yeah, Mailman had some underwater stuff, but barely really. The soundtrack of this game is so phenomenal. I've been saying that every part, but it's still true, and it still needs to be said. It is such a good fucking soundtrack. Again, though, I know lots of Mega Man fan games have really good soundtracks. I'm just saying, this is... Again, this is just as close to official and real as it possibly gets. It's wonderful. It's also not that long, though, and This stage is very, very long because if you thought that because this was a gauntlet of stages as per usual, that would mean the stages would be a little bit shorter, nah. Nope. These stages are just as long. In fact, I think this one is not as long as Yoku Man's stage, but probably as long as Try Nitro Man's stage. To be fair, I'm not speedrunning it. I'm not, going to my absolute fastest, taking advantage of glitches or anything like that. Or just, taking more risks in general. Partly because I am still playing with the analog stick, but partly because, I just wanted to be careful. Still, even then, this is only the halfway point of the stage. There is still so much stage left. It's, my only complaint. My only true complaint, anyway, because, even the unfair bosses are, you can deal with those. Anyway, this castle actually has cutscenes in a few of its stages, particularly its last few stages. You may remember in a previous part that we explored some of the options that you can change around and play around with in Mega Man Unlimited. One of those options was short scenes. I already explained it partly in that particular part, but because this castle actually has what I'm talking about, I'm going to talk about it again. Basically, certain cutscenes play in this castle. If you would have short scenes turned on, the short version of that cutscene would automatically play, where there would technically be like no cutscene, and you would just engage right with the boss fight or the stage or whatever, because that's a speedrunning thing. Instead of having to press buttons to try and skip it real fast, you just have an option to turn it off, because the developers of this game were very, very considerate to anyone and everyone that wanted to play. Casual communities with an easy mode, hardcore speedrunners with speedrunning options. I believe there's actually a speedrunning version of this game that you can download on the Megafil X website. So we got the timer and stuff in the bottom right corner, which is pretty good. It also brings back a glitch that was in the, or bug I should say, that was in the earlier versions of this game, but was since removed. But then put back in because, it was a very useful speedrunning trick, and they're all about helping out speedrunners. My rambling about speedrunners has brought us to the end of the stage. Yeah, this is the end. Definitely take the top path in this part, because that bottom path is hell. But we're here. We fought a crab in the first stage, and in this stage we're going to fight... an octopus, or a squid, or whatever. It's the thing that has tentacles. Robots in this castle have a lot of water, nautical themes. I wonder if they were hinting towards Whirlpool Man even back then. Probably not. Point is, this thing has one weakness, glue shot, although you can use yo-yo cutter if you want, if you're having trouble, aiming for it directly. That's the instant kill attack. Octopus or squid or whatever will ram its head into the boss door. It will crush you if you stay on it. You have to use the underwater physics to jump over to the side and, stay afloat long enough before the attack is done. So, its weaknesses are the two tentacles. The two tentacles share a health bar, so no point in just focusing on one. Once you destroy one, you have to focus on the other one. Each one has 14 hit points of damage, 28 points in total. Not much to it. Just be wary of that insta-kill attack. And then we're off. To Wily Stage 3. Man, we are really gunning it, aren't we? Alright. Wily Stage 3. The final technical level of the game, because the next level after that is boss rematches. And the final boss. Toughest stage of the game, I'd say. Would I say that? Yeah, I guess I would say that. This is tied with the Yoku Man. By the way, the water cannon also stops shots, no matter what they are. Like if they're pellet shots or giant laser cannon shots, whatever. Wave cannon will stop it. Still can't go through the walls with shields, though. Toughest stage of the game? Would I say this is? Yeah, probably toughest stage of the game. At least it's tied with Yoku Man. Yeah, it's definitely top of Yoku Man. This stage is all about gravity. Something brought back from the Try Nitro Man thing. Well, one of the sections of Try Nitro Man stage. It is very brutal, very long, and very unforgiving. I bought a shock guard at the shop before we started the castle. It's for this stage. There is one particular spike setup that's very, 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 very difficult to get through without hitting, and of course spikes kill me in one hit. So I bought the shock guard just to help me get through that one section. As you'll see, it's not going to work out because I'm an idiot. But well, you'll see. You'll see how it goes. I wasted on the wrong spike, that it was not going to be the big problem spike. Although it ends up working out because I actually get past the problem spike in one try, and the stupid spike that shouldn't have been any kind of an issue for me, I died because of the fucking analog stick. Thanks a lot, PS4 analog sticks. I almost died there too, because again, the analog sticks are just... Don't play Mega Man Unlimited with analog sticks. I did it because I didn't have a choice, but don't do it. Wasted the stupid shock guard on those spikes in that screen, so then I just fell there. Fell in to the spikes that weren't a problem, wasted my shock guard on spikes that also weren't a problem. God. And we're going to be coming up to the spikes that are actually a problem soon, so... Regardless, this stage is your final gauntlet. This stage is the last real stage of the game. Once you get through this, you're pretty much just riding high on boss rematches and final bosses and the end. Those spikes at the top of this screen after the... Okay, that's gone now. Those spikes at the top of this screen... If I could stop pausing, but I need to keep pausing so I can switch between weapons. These spikes are awful. They're awful. They're awful. It's so hard to time where you have to start sliding. It's But I got through them in one try, which is funny. Which is funny because I bought the shock guard for nothing. I've wasted those few bolts that don't really matter on a shock guard that did nothing. So that's wonderful. Really, really great. Anyway, past that. Sorry, I'm a little hot and bothered right now. Past that, though, the rest of the stage is pretty easy, actually. That one spike setup was easily the most difficult thing about this stage. And now that we're past that, pretty much the rest of it is smooth sailing. Although they do throw in reappear and disappearing blocks a little bit later. I haven't mentioned it yet, but this game doesn't have borders. I made those borders, just, you know, because there's a lot of cool images that were made in promotion for this game, so I decided to use them. It was such a pleasure to play through this game. Like, when in doubt, when I don't have anything to talk about the stage itself, because this is pretty straightforward, I'm going to gush about how awesome this game is. I'm also going to burp a little bit, but not too much. This game is wonderful. I mean, there's not much more to say about it than that. It's just labor of love by real, true, honest-to-God fans of Mega Man. And it's really nice to see that. Oh, here we go. Reappear and disappear in blocks. Upside down. It actually messed this section up a couple of times. Because, again, analog stick. Do not play this game with an analog stick. I don't know what went wrong with my computer or my controller. nothing because I used my controller on regular games on my PS4 Pro after that and didn't mess up at all. My D-pad worked fine, so clearly it was something with the setup of my computer that just wasn't allowing the D-pad to function at all. So now I gotta look into that. That's gonna be fun. I get it on the next try though. Point is, I'm even better at this game than I thought because I beat it and did pretty damn well on an analog stick when I should have been playing with the D-pad the whole time. So, nah. I believe we're almost done now. After this reappear of the Springs block section, we're at the final stretch. Final stretch leading up to a surprise boss, although maybe not that much of a surprise if you've been paying attention to the cutscenes. There aren't that many cutscenes, but, you know. There aren't that many cutscenes, and the teams that made this game, their English was, you know. I don't actually know, but I'm going to guess it probably wasn't their first language. Just considering the grammar used in the cutscenes. Point is, while the execution is not the best in the regular cutscenes, story stuff was pretty good. It's a good extension of Mega Man 10's Robo-Ensign plot. Although they don't actually ever name the virus in this game. They don't have to, but it would have been nice if they called it Robo-Ensign or something, you know. They're not making a profit off this, so you can stand to use a couple of names from the actual licensed Mega Man games. Well, maybe not. That probably would have brought Capcom down over their heads, and that wouldn't have been cool. You would have missed out on Mega Man Unlimited. Be careful, this jump is a very tricky jump. Point is, while some of their models in the cutscenes are not perfect, and definitely get hit there so you can bypass the spikes, while the models of the cutscenes aren't perfect, you know, the effort's there and appreciated, and it makes for a really, really compelling final chapter in the classic era Mega Man story. You'll see what I mean later in this video, because, oh boy, it's coming. You can already tell by the border what's coming, but if you're not looking at the border, or if you don't know, then it'll be a fun surprise. I doubt it's going to be a surprise to anyone, but still. Cutscene! Here we go. Oh, King Dweeb himself. What's up, Mega Twerp? Proto Man. Your brother's getting real sloppy. Proto Man, hang in there. Don't come near me. But I said don't come near me. Deceptively tricky boss. It's Proto Man under the influence of the robot virus that Base has been using, because obviously it was Base. Who else would it have been? There's no other candidates unless you made an original robot, but, you know, they decided not to. Proto Man deceptively tricky. He does 3 actions before getting to the other side of the screen and charging up his Proto Buster to fire a shot at you. He is going to slide 3 times and... No, sorry. Slide once and jump 3 times. That's what I'm going to say. Jump 3 times and slide once. The order that he does it in is always random. You never know. So always stand really far on the other side of the arena to try and get a feel for if his next thing he's going to do is a jump or a slide. And, you know, react accordingly to that. Very difficult to do. I was really, really proud that I didn't get hit once. His weakness is the Yoku attack. So if you fought Yoku Man, you have his weakness. If not, then you have to use the Mega Buster. Cutscene. Right. Come on, get in position, guys. Come on, go ahead. Right now. Oh, well. Guess I'm weaker than I thought. I'm sorry. Alrighty. Proto Man's out of the picture. Now it's just Mega Man and Base. But not in the fun way like in the Game Boy game, /SNES game, or the sequel. But in the way where they fought each other in Mega Man 7 and 8. Also, not just Mega Man and Base, but Mega Man and Base and 9 of the Robot Masters. Should have been 10, but they didn't put Whirlpool Man in. This stage really lays it on with giving you a bunch of W-Tanks and E-Tanks. Luckily, I already bought plenty, so I am not going to run low. Definitely want to have at least a couple of W tanks and E tanks for what's coming. I want to check my phone real quick, sorry. Prepare yourself, because the first thing the stage shows at you, besides this really, really crazy spike trap area, is the boss rush. I will see you all when it's time to fight base. Just kidding! Nope. Instead of a traditional boss rush, each single boss capsule leads to an area representative of the boss itself. So in this case, we're going to go and fight Yo-Yo Man, because this is the Yo-Yo Man stage gimmick. You have a small section of stage that's reminiscent of the actual stage this Robot Master is from, and then you fight the Robot Master themselves. So now I will see you when it's time to fight base. Ta-ta, guys. Enjoy. love that Proto Man remix so much. It's from the end of Mega Man 3. It's wonderful. Okay, so that was that. I did die a few times during those boss rematches. The stage parts specifically because the Mailman section and the Glue Man section are bullshit. But we're done. That's it. It's time to move on to the final boss, to Base. Wonder what made him go so crazy. Anyway, we're not actually there yet. We have a little bit more stage to go through, but not that much. In fact, after this screen, I believe we are done and are at the end. I believe. Yes, we are. Okay, so they have an E tank here and a W tank here. Definitely take advantage of that. The final boss is long. It's difficult. Not the first part, but the second and third part are really difficult. Be ready. 1 E tank, 2 W tanks. Cutscene. Base, stop this. It's gone on for long enough. I've outsmarted my own creator, Mega Man. Do you see now how robots really are superior to humans? Why don't you wake up? Wake up. Base, you're being controlled by a virus. This isn't you talking. Now is the time for your destruction. Okay, final boss, phase 1. Base. Regular Base is pretty easy. He has 3 attacks. He either fires his Base Buster, then dashes and jumps, or he's going to jump, fire his Base Buster diagonally down, and then finish up with a slide to the other side of the screen. Both of those attacks are extremely easy to dodge. Not much to it. You don't even need his weakness, which is Comet Dash. There's nothing to this boss, really. Part 1 is so easy. I get hit a few times because of stupid mistakes, but really, I mean, there's nothing to it. After he loses about half health, though, is when he starts applying his third attack, which is right here. He fuses with Treble to create a Treble Boost Base and fires 3 very powerful shots. The Nail Shield completely absorbs those shots, though, so take advantage of that. And yeah, and that's all there is to it. Once he is below half health, he's going to start using that Treble Boost attack pretty liberally, so be ready for that. Try to take as little damage as possible here. Like I said, ideally you come into this fight with 1 E tank and 2 W tanks. Don't waste too much Comet Dash here because you're going to need it later. And try not to lose too much health because the tough part's coming soon. Right now, actually. Cutscene. Right after Base gets in position. My head hurts. What have I done? Why can't I beat him? Ah! You worthless piece of junk! How dare you attack your master? Take this! Base! So, how'd you like your first-hand demonstration of my powerful new virus, Mega Man? It almost backfired on me. I hadn't even planned on any of this. I guess it still needs more work. After all, you haven't been disrupted at all yet. Doesn't matter. Because I have you now. The Wily Machine. Okay, this Wily Machine has a pattern, follows its same pattern all the time. First thing it does is these 3 laser things. Fires them at you in that order that you saw all the time, every time, and returns them in that order that you saw all the time, every time. After that, it's going to do 3, I believe, electrical blasts down at you. No, just 2 electrical blasts down at you. And then it's going to fire 3 energy blasts at you, and then it's going to charge at you. It's always that. It always does that in that order each and every time. Its weakness is Yo-Yo Cutter. Take it down as fast as you can. Still, just remember, come in with 1 E tank at least, 2 W tanks. Use as little Yo-Yo Cutter as possible because it's time for the final phase, the tough phase, the Wily Walker. You actually fight the capsule attached to a pair of legs, and this thing is invincible almost all the time. Its only weakness is when it jumps and reveals Wily underneath, and at that point you can attack the undercarriage of the capsule, which is the green part with the 2 turrets on it. That's the part you want to hit. Attacking the top of the capsule itself, or too low at the legs, is not going to do anything. After it jumps and fires 2 diagonal, squiggly rainbow blasts, whatever they are supposed to be at you, it's going to do one of two things. If it lands at an extreme end of a screen, it's going to dash at you, at which point you can use your special weapons or your Mega Buster to slow it down until it comes to a complete stop, at which point it will do a jump. Or if it lands like in the middle of a screen or something after its jump, you saw earlier, it'll walk to one side of the screen or the other, depending on which direction it's facing. Like it's going to do it right now, because it's not at the extreme end of the screen, as you see. Because it wasn't at the extreme end of one side of the screen or the other, it was forced to walk to the end of the screen that it was facing. If it does that, there is no dodging at. It's impossible to dodge. You have to use Comet Dash and its invincibility frames to, dash past it. This is why you have to have Comet Dash for this fight. This is why you need Yo-Yo Cutter for this fight. Yo-Yo Cutter is a weakness. Comet Dash prevents you from taking cheap damage. Okay? You can also use Rainbow Beam if you're having trouble hitting the undercarriage, because Rainbow Beam hits everything. It's not its weakness, it only does 1 damage, so be very careful. Remember, at least 2 weapon tanks come into this fight with. Feel comfortable. And 1 E-tank. And that'll be that. That's the end of the boss. That's the final boss of the game. But we're clearly not done with the game yet. You're saying, clearly, he got away, so what does that mean? What's the actual final boss? There is no actual final boss. Spoiler alert, the next boss of the next stage is unbeatable. What we just did, that was technically the end of the game. The rest of this is, interactive story salad dressing that you put on top of it. We're technically done playing it now. We technically don't have to try anymore, because what comes next is really easy / unwinnable. So, I'm even using that weapon tank to heal all my stuff. That's just formalities. It doesn't matter. We're done. That E-tank, that life that we just, dropped past, doesn't matter. You don't need it. We're done. What's coming up next? Excuse me. What's coming up next cannot be won. Cannot be anything. Don't hit those spikes, obviously. We're not at the unwinnable part yet. You don't want to embarrassingly die right before that part. And that's it. That's the end of the stage. Time to fight the boss. Here we go. Well, after this, they really want you to be prepared for something you can't win. Meet the Z prototype. Fans of the Mega Man X series know perfectly well who this actually is, and I don't care, I'm gonna say it. It's Zero! This is the prototype body of Zero, the most powerful robot master alive. Before, technically he's not alive, he's a robot, but you know what I mean. The most powerful robot master ever. The most powerful robot of all time. He's unbeatable. No matter what you do, if whatever special weapon you use, Mega Buster, charged up Mega Buster, doesn't matter. He can take it all. Just lose and then you're on your way to the end of the game. It's fun though, and this is a remix of the X vs. Zero fight theme in Mega Man X5, my favorite Mega Man X game of all time, my favorite game in the Mega Man franchise. Great way to end a game. Love it. Alright, Mega Man lost his arm, as we saw in the opening of Mega Man Unlimited. The actual title screen comes back to haunt us. You can't shoot, you can only run. This is a Metroid-style end game, or beginning of the game if it's Super Metroid you're talking about. Escape sequence. Just get out of the castle. There's no time limit, so don't worry about getting out as fast as you can. Just get out. Try not to die. I don't know what happens if you actually die. I think you start before the Zero fight. Maybe. I don't know. Probably not, though. Probably start after the Zero fight. Point is, just get out. Get out. Very, very easy little platforming section. We're all done, ladies and gentlemen. See you when it's time for the credits. I can't go on. I hope you managed to escape in time, Rock. I failed. I was weak. That new virus. I fear the time will come when I won't be able to help you defend mankind. With only you being immune to the virus, are you going to be on your own, brother? You make that new machine, and now I no longer have purpose, huh? Well, I'll make sure the twerp lives then. I will have my revenge. Oh, thank goodness I've completed the repairs. Welcome back, Mega Man. I don't understand. How did I survive? Oh, someone brought you back. I don't know who it was, but we should be very grateful regardless, right? The world still needs you, Mega Man. I guess it does. And so, Mega Man foiled Dr. Wily's plans once again, and peace was restored, for now. Dr. Wily, however, disappeared, along with the new virus he had created. Who was that mysterious robot? What power? This time, Mega Man knew for sure that he would have to fight again. But he also knew that he would never give up, for the sake of the world, for the sake of humanity, and for everlasting peace and justice. This game was absolutely wonderful, a joy to play. The team that made this should be very proud of themselves. So, I have no more to say. This was wonderful. I have an extras video with Mega Man Unlimited Extras, as the name would imply. So, hope you stick around for that. Otherwise, this is the end. Until Mega Man 11, or until my video where I cover all the Mega Man stuff I'm not going to be covering out in full detail on this channel. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a great day. Bye-bye. I've got it! Oh, I can't believe I've got it! I understand the virus data now, and Mega Man's data, why he can't be infected! Huh. This is amazing! What endless potential.